What's it gonna be? How you gonna be? Who you gonna be? What's it gonna be? How you gonna be? Who you gonna be? What's it gonna be? How you gonna be? Who you gonna be? What's it gonna be? How you gonna be? Who you gonna be?
There are 13 energy centers in and outside of your body, below your feet and above your head. They're called your chakras. Your chakras govern your reality. They make your life happen. They're fueled by your subconscious thoughts, your life force, your action, sexual energy that exists in all of us, creating from the vibration that flows within us. Constant, consistent creation, directed by the choices that we make. You have the right to be who you're supposed to be, so what's it gonna be? You are the master of your vibration. Feed your mind for elevation. There is no time for contemplation. The time is now. So what's it gonna be? Does that sound kind of dramatic, Solution? Love it. Love it, dramatic. Hola, everyone. Hola, hola.
Oh, you do it for like a movie dramatic feel.
Hey, because I feel like I'm in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm in a movie. It is like we're in a movie. Oh, Mobina made it. Hola. I was saying, I figured I figured that was you. But yes, welcome, welcome. So happy that you made it.
Well, I guess you're saying that you're in a movie. I mean, we've always said, does life imitate art, or does art imitate life?
It's both to me. It goes in a full circle.
I think that the things that we see on the screen, art, things of that nature, are usually derived from reality.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like it.
Mm-hmm. Hola, Ebony. Hola, Naturi. Welcome, welcome. Happy Friday to everyone.
Hot August night.
Yes, it is a hot August night. Absolutely. And we got we're going in today. I know the topic that I put out is spirituality in chaos. And that's just really important because the world is just completely, it's falling apart. It's breaking down. It's like all of the things that you can think of when it relates to rebirth and death and rising. You know, all of those things are happening right now. And so spirituality is something that is not optional. You know, some people think that it's optional because we have people who don't believe in anything, right? You got the atheists, you know, you have people that just don't, you know, there's a lot of different belief systems out there. But energy cannot be denied. And when you feel something, and when you feel something that stems from being part of who you are, then, you know, it's undeniable. And in my opinion, some people that are atheists are going through their experience in this lifetime so that they could experience life without, you know, kind of a spiritual sense. But at some point, it's gonna get them because it gets to everybody because it's part of humanity. It is part of who we are. Our spirituality is now on a conscious level combining with the body, meaning that now we know, oh, so this God that exists that we've always, you know, known about in some way through religion actually exists, and it is in us. This energy, this high energy, this divine source exists within us. And so on last Sunday, we started the week on Sunday with surrender. That was the message of our Bible study. And it was just really telling, or, it was a perfect lead to what the week was. Y'all know we got together on Wusa Wednesday, and Wusa Wednesday for a lot of us was, we had begun with a very challenging week. And for me, it has completely subsided, and things are great, and life is good. Things are in balance. It feels good. I'm definitely not in that place again, and I learned a lot from being there. So it was, it was a great visit. But the whole point of what happened and what has been happening is the trust in ourselves and in our intuition and in what we believe to do and what we know within ourselves, and to keep moving forward in that, because there's too much mess going on outside. It is chaos. People are depending on their leaders. They're depending on their church, their pastors, their parents, their friends. They're depending on everyone except for themselves. And so when we have a society of people that are just depending on each other and are blaming each other and are mad at each other, then, we can already see what's happening there. It's important for us to know that what we're experiencing is just the past. So all of this that's happening now is a residual of the past. So there is nothing that we could do about it in a physical action to change it. It's not gonna, it's not going to change the circumstances that we are existing now. In order for us to change our circumstances, we have to change it in thought. We have to change it in our minds. And so this is really important because, this week I sent out a lot of videos, and maybe not a lot. Maybe I looked at more than what I sent out. But I for sure sent you guys a video about with Alex Jones, because it had gotten deleted from our video chat in Master Vibration 13. And then we found it again at Rumble. And so we posted it again. So it's in the chat at mastervibration13.com if you haven't seen it. And when you check it out, it's like, it's overwhelming if you were not grounded and you were not prepared for, information, factual information that is being presented. And so the floodgates are open on the internet now with just information and what is and what is not and what people think and all of these different things going on. And we've been talking about it for a long time. It's time to release that. And we can't be caught up on no news, on no social media, on no things that are going on out there that are taking us away from where we are and from where we want to be. Because this now means everything. So if you are giving your attention, and it's so funny because I wrote down the words pay attention, and pay attention. To pay attention, what are you paying with? You're paying with your energy, with your thought, with your mind. You're paying attention to this thing. So that was like a early on clue as to the value of the human. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're saying it kind of subliminally. Pay attention. They're not telling you what it is, but it's like when you pay attention, you are paying with your energy. You are giving your energy to that particular thing. And the value of your energy is, it's infinite. You are an infinite being. So your attention to anything is of extreme value. It is so important. And it is something that we have not come to recognize because we have all been programmed. All of us have been programmed to give our energy to things outside of ourselves. So right now, in the midst of the chaos that's happening in the world, you got people that are waiting for the president, they're waiting for their priest, they're waiting for their guru, they're waiting for somebody to tell them what to do. That time is over. That time is not here anymore. That time is done. And so everything in the world is symbolizing the fact that we need to be in solo mode, learning our vessels, learning our chakra systems, grounding ourselves so that we're able to connect to everything that we need so that we could flow in this intensity that is happening in the world. There is a plan for 2030. So we're in 2021. So there's like 9 more years, which 9 years is really not a long time. It really isn't. And so in 9 years, they expect to have their plan complete, or at least close to complete. And the plan is to kill people. The plan is to get rid of like 1 billion people, I think it is. So that's a lot of people. Depopulation is a real thing that is happening as we speak, right? And so we know that this is happening. This is not about, oh, is it real? Is Corona real? Is it fake? Is it, look, if you are experiencing in your life, even if you're experiencing it just by thought alone, right there is showing you it is real. And so the attention and the energy that you give to it is going to make it even more real. And so the more that you try to find it, okay, see, here's something that's happening now. We have some people that have been so in denial of, if is COVID real or is it not real? And the people that were saying that it is not real, and I think that they were just not really speaking from a place of, they weren't really knowing how to say that it's not real, that it was created, that it was planned, rather than saying, because it is real. And we're not going to ever deny that the reality of what's happening in the world, what we're experiencing, what we're seeing is not there and it's not real. But what we want to do is lean more to the bigger truth of our role in it. What part do we play? How does it exist? Or does it not exist in our world? And so there becomes the priority only all the time. And so if you don't want that to exist in your world, then you have to do the things that you need to do so that you don't have to experience the things that come with this virus. Because it is a virus. It is a virus that first comes into the mind and it expresses itself through the body, through the vibration of the individual, and through everything that the individual attracts is what shows, are you really scared, or are you just saying you're not scared, but you really are? Because see, nobody can lie anymore, right? The universe is completely picking up on the vibration of the individual. So you could say all day long, you ain't scared of no COVID, you ain't scared of no COVID, you ain't scared of no COVID, but you're really scared. And your vibration is saying that. You're trying to mouth it so that you can convince yourself that you're not afraid, but everything, your actions, all of your activity, everything that you're doing, everything that you're thinking is reflecting otherwise. So guess what you're going to get? You're going to get you a handful of COVID. Whether it's going to come inside your body or through a loved one or something else, or an experience, something that you heard about somebody. Because one of the things that people are experiencing too, and I'm again talking to the people that were saying that it wasn't real, and now they're experiencing the shock of, oh my gosh, it is real. So now what do I believe? I believed all of these things that they weren't real, and now it is real. So now everything that I believed wasn't real. And so now what is it? Now, should I take a shot? Should I not take a shot? Oh my goodness. And so it's just so much. And that's why the best advice that anybody could ever give to anyone is surrender. Surrender to your truth. Surrender to your knowing. Please know that if you are surrendering to your truth, and your truth has to do with getting vaccinated, then you have to go with the program that goes along with it. There's no judgment. But the program of vaccination is that you're going to continue to get vaccinated. There are going to be other vaccinations and boosters because, and this comes from, and I did not post this video, but this comes from a PhD, and I can't remember her name. I will find the video and I will post it for you guys in the group. For sure I will do that. But this video, this PhD was talking about, and she's not vaccinated. And so she was talking about how because of the knowledge and the study that she has, she's a scientist, she has learned of all these things that are in this shot, and she is not interested in having it. She does not think that any person of color should have it. She said that 70% of the melanated people in America are not getting it. And so that's a huge deal. And she said that it had to do with the trauma of the Tuskegee experiment and the way that our people have been treated since the beginning of time. Okay, so these are when you start to gain, so this is information that came into my lap, so to speak. And so I make my decision based on my energy, my vibration, my experience. This is how I make my decisions. Me and the Most High have conversations all the time, right? A lot of times without saying anything. And so I move in that. And so I'm comfortable where I am. Now, that does not absolve me from anything that's going on in the world, but it allows me to create a different experience for myself, and it will take me away, And so if the ultimate takeaway is to leave the vessel, and so it is, that's part of here. And we all need to get used to that, knowing that this body is not forever. It is just part of our experience, a very small part of our experience, because our experience as a soul spirit is just so much bigger than what could be manifested into this physical experience, and yet it is. Look at us having children and birthing projects and having ideas and all. So it's constantly being manifested through us, but it's still not, we haven't even scratched the surface on what we could do. And so this is the time that we're in now. I get so many messages from people that are scared and concerned about the things that are going on, and I get it and I understand it. But to you I say, is this not a time that we've been asking for? Have we not been praying for a change in the world? Have we not been wanting for things to get better and for things to be better for humanity? Have we not been asking for that with the very being that we are? Our cells have been vibrating that lifetime after lifetime. Is that not so? And so if you agree that it is so, then that means that you are ready for what comes with it. And nothing in life comes easy. We definitely know that. But we should really be in complete and total celebration for the time that we're in and for what is going on. And when we're seeing the desperation that the mass media is taking and projecting their fear and all of this ugliness into the world, that's a straight up indication on how far we have gotten in this elevation and how close we are to the ultimate space of balance. Because it's not even about getting there. We talked about that before. We ain't never going to get there. It is about achieving the balance and being able to live in that space of balance where we find joy, abundance, relief, laughter, happiness, love. We can exist in that for real, like all the time. Heaven, this was another one that stuck out. Heaven, what was it? Heaven is within us, right? The kingdom of God is within us. That means that heaven is within us. It doesn't get any plainer. But I think that when we heard it back in the day, I'm going to speak for myself and say, when I heard the kingdom of God is within us, and I can say it now and I feel the chills of that powerful statement. But I remember feeling like, oh, that must be for the priests and the people that be going to church on Sundays all the time. Sure can't be me. I'm a heathen. I have sex and I do this things and I do that things. So, wow, that's not me. That's cool though. So it's what you're like, okay. And then another thing that I felt, and I felt this one it was funny because I felt this one when I had my conversation with God when I was like 8 years old, about between 8 and 11, but I'm pretty sure it was 8 when I was telling.
The priest was having sex.
I didn't know that. At that time, no, I didn't know that.
You was back to about 6 or 7 years
old. 6 to 7 years or 11, in between there somewhere. And I remember having a conversation with God, and I was saying, look, God, I know that, because my father was a pastor, my mom was Catholic, worldly music is not really something that you do. But then, of course, they say that, but you grow up in the house listening to the worldly music, except for my dad. My dad didn't play. When he said goodbye to the devil, it was goodbye. But with my mom, it was different. And so when I had the conversation with God, I was like, I want to be a singer. And my dad is saying, those things are things of the devil and da-da-da. So I'm like, all right, so I'm going to hang out with the devil for a little while, God, right? Let me just do this. And then I'm going to come back to you later in my life. And so I remember having that. I had to give myself permission to be okay to sing these songs and know that I have this connection with God. And God says it's okay. And so it was okay, and it was just something that back then I would have never understood. I still felt, the kingdom of God isn't, that's at a time. You got to earn that. That's the, and you do have to earn it. And it is a lot of, you have to get to a certain space in order for you to really receive that truth. But it is here available now to all of us to receive. And the way that we get ready for it, the way that we prepare ourselves for it, is just by aligning ourselves with that energy. And the first way to do it is grounding. You have to ground yourself, because with all of the things that are going on in the world, if you do not know where you stand, you're going to get swept away. You're going to sink. So I want to give you guys real quick 2 stones that you could, and maybe Solution will say some other ones too, but for sure we know about magnetite for grounding is one of the most powerful stones that you could use for grounding. And a testament to that is its ability to attract. Like if you use magnetite, you could put a magnet on it or metal on it, and it's going to, it's the only stone that has this power. And so for me, in learning about stones and this journey for me, and magnetite being something, because it came really easy to us. We got so much magnetite. We were always finding magnetite. This is one of my favorite pieces of magnetite. Magnetite comes with it has little triangles on them. It's a very, very powerful crystal when I tell you. And then the magnetism of it. What happens is when you hold it, you can hold the magnetite, and even if you were not on the ground, because of its magnetic pull, it is going to align you immediately. So let's say somebody lives in a high rise and they can't do some grounding on the floor or on the earth. They can't get to the earth. Then magnetite is a must-have for you, because magnetite is going to completely pull that energy back down, and is going to bring you as close to grounding as possible. When you're using magnetite along with grounding and being in the dirt and sinking your feet in the dirt, then that's going to even more healing, even more receptivity to the energy of the earth, and so more healing for your cells and for your body. And so these stones, mahogany obsidian is another one. And mahogany obsidian is also going to be very helpful, because see, when you begin to ground and you start doing the work of grounding, you're going to be calling up energies that need healing. You're going to be calling up energies that need to be transformed. So anything about yourself, be it from this lifetime, from your childhood, from another lifetime, those things are going to come up for your healing. And so when you're using a stone, okay, so I'm going to give you an example of how the stones work. Okay, so if I'm grounding and I'm not using any stones at all, I'm just using I'll use the magnetite. I'll use the magnetite for grounding, but I don't have like a galena, or I don't have a mahogany obsidian. I don't have those, right? So what could happen is that I could get really drained. I could get super emotional. Even though I'm grounded, I could still get really emotional in that journey to my shadow self, in that journey deep within. It could just be a little, a little bumpier, and I can still do it, but it'll be just a little bumpier. Okay, so now bring in some mahogany obsidian. I have the mahogany obsidian, or some galena. These stones are going to make that ride a lot easier. It's going to make it kind of like unites you with your darkness. It makes you that. So it makes you be able to deal with whatever traumas you've ever dealt with, sexual abuse, hurt, whatever pain you have deep down under. It will allow you to go in there and really look at it and not be so emotional, and not be so, kind of taken away or impacted by the things that you're digging up. And so this is where the knowledge of the stones become really important. It's like, I think it's wonderful that you guys all have Orgone energy batteries, and those that have it, you already know. We always send a list of ingredients, and those list of ingredients is so that you could look it up and know what it is that you're working with. so that when you are doing your programming, when you're doing your spiritual work and you're, getting ready for your week, what do you want to program? What kind of energy do you want to program for the week? You want to know, okay, I want some protection. I need some black tourmaline. I need some, more love, in my life through the week. Let me sprinkle some rose quartz on myself or some pink tourmaline. So you have these tools available, and these tools can help you get through your week really flawlessly so that you could not be affected by the chaos that's going to be quite continuous. Look, they got plans. 2030 is no joke. They moving fast, and they're moving through everyone. They are moving through everyone. And when I say the they, please don't think that the they is just a physical object or a physical person or a non-being. It is a group of, a force of beings. I don't even know what to call. They're soulless. They're definitely soulless. But they were, I think, Alex Jones calls them Luciferians. But these are energies that their intention is to do what they do. The darkness of what they do is what they were created to do, so they cannot be anything different than what they are, right? And so if they can take some souls and transform them, which what they're wanting to do is to use your body, and they want to take your mind and your body, and that's what it is. And so if they have enough of that, they could continue with what they're wanting to do for their Luciferian intention. And really, it's not an intention of, it's so interesting because it's like the devil, Lucifer, was created as a force created to do what it does. So you cannot expect any quote unquote goodness from Lucifer. The goodness comes from your realization of what is in the moment of transforming a situation in hell. And so that becomes a wonderful and beautiful thing, which then again takes us back to Lucifer and the devil. Could we have reached that high point without the darkness? No, we could not. It is impossible. And so this is why the judgment and all of those things are so important not to do, because we can't change the devil. The devil is what it is. And so these Luciferian beings, they believe that they're doing God's work in being as bad as they could be, because in their badness, in their evilness, it pulls us into, are we going to do it? Are we not going to do it? It gives us the opportunity to choose. And so there has to be that there. They have to exist. Judas had to exist. All the people that fucked with you had to exist. Your rapist had to rape you. Your mother had to abuse you. Your husband had to beat you. All of these things, horrible things in the low devil vibration that it exists in, had to exist in your life so that you could recognize the light that exists in you. And that goes for all of us. Every single situation, it all applies. And so we can't look at these, or we can, but to look at these Luciferian energies and these beings that are wanting to have this full control because they believe that people ain't shit anyway and they need to be controlled because look, you give them a choice and they fuck it up anyway. This is their whole, they have reason to do what they do. I mean, they're saying, let's kill all these people because we're going to create a world for the great Lucifer, for the great energy of this divine dark spirit that will be in complete control, and they'll be in this darkness forever and evermore. Of course, that's what they want. Just like the people that want to bring people to the kingdom of God and Jesus are like, if we get enough people hypnotized and believing that Jesus is going to come back and take them by the hand and do everything for them, we get enough people in that realm, and then a whole nother world is created. Mm-hmm. So, and everybody is doing it to an extreme. And what's happening now, what we are existing in now, is the realization that that balance is what's possible for all of us. And we can live in that harmony and we can live in that balance. So it's going to exist. And so is the yin, so is the yang. Now, where are you going to exist? Where do you want to be? And wherever that is, you got to hold on to that thought. You got to hold on to that thought and create it in your heart. You got to create it in your mind. You have to take action with it. And the action that I'm talking about is not like, oh, well, I'm going to go and, and dig up the foundation of what I'm going to build physically. I'm going to get the shovel. No, you have to be in your stillness and build it up in your mind with that third eye, that visualization, that feeling of knowing that you have it, because you already do. So see, your job just simply becomes in practicing being an infininaire, practicing knowing who you are. That's what the work becomes. Because see, this is not something that just because you say it to yourself, you're just going to be it. Oh, you said it a few 100,000 times. Oh, so that means that's it. No, that's not the universal law, the law of vibration. You can't forget that one. And so you have to vibrate what it is that you want. And ultimately, what it is that you want is a good feeling. You want to feel good. Take the Lexus out. Take all the bills out. Take the money, whatever it is that looks physical, that equates to your happiness. You take all that out. And the bottom line is that you want to feel good. Oh, but I want this for my husband. Well, why for your husband? Because I love the way he looks when he has it. Okay, so what you really want is that feeling that it gives you when he has this thing. And so now you have to figure out how to get to that feeling, because there's a lot of things that can make that feeling happen. But that feeling that you have is a feeling that you made happen through these certain things that kind of came into play so that it could happen. But you chose to have that feeling. You chose that. And so you decided that these were the ways that it was going to happen and you were going to have this feeling. But there's other ways that you can get to the feeling without jumping all of those hoops. You know what I'm saying? And so it's a matter of you being able to find what it is that gets you that feeling. And I'm going to put it in even because we talk a lot about sex and sexual energy, and that's such a strong, powerful force. People sure do know how to figure the hell out how to have an orgasm, don't they? I mean, people will spend their entire lifetime trying to figure it out. I mean, for guys, it's different because for guys, for men, it's a little, it's kind of easier for you all. For women, we've spent a lot of times and situations and partners in trying to get that going. And then oftentimes, a lot of times it has to be a self situation so that you could do it and figure it out. And so learning and knowing what it is that's going to get it, and finally being able to know this is how that happens and know that you could achieve it. That's the same thing about life and all of it. So if you know that if you know that you could work hard to get that, and you can focus yourself, your whole intention to make that possible, then know that you're proving to yourself right there that you could make anything happen, because that is a very powerful tool to be able to access that. And see, what happens is some people force it, and when you force it, then you just bring in a lot of things with it. When you're doing it mindlessly, you're bringing a lot of things with it. And so this is why we live in the world that we live in today. We're all to blame. We're all responsible for all of it, because all of this mindless sexual energy, penetration and playing and all of that mindlessness, that's created everything. But now we get to redo it and do it and you know what? I don't even want to say redo it. We're doing something completely new, because what's happening now has never happened in the history of time. In all existence, it has not happened. And so now imagine the work that we're going to be able to do for all of the world, to know that we have this magnificent power within us and we could use it at any time, And so when we know that, we start to use it. And when we start to use it, we start to see the world change all around us. And that is, it's just an inspiring thing. It's very inspiring, because I really thought that I had to wait until something physical determined that, yes, I am an infininaire. I am a person that attracts wealth infinitely because I live in my passion. And I live that, and I've been living that. Matter of fact, we just found out, we thought that we had originally copywrote Infininaire in 2013, but it was actually in 2010 when we believed that we were going to raise $1 million in a month. It was an event like that. One of these fantastical.
I don't
In 28 days, yeah. We're always coming up with, wild things, testing the universe and testing our powers and realizing that everything that you ask for always, always is given. It always comes. And you just have to align yourself with it so that you can catch it. And so we're catching a lot these days. And so, yes, I have to say about that. My words left me, you guys. Hola, Cherise. Yes.
Been there when it was copyrighted.
Yeah. So when it was copywritten and I was using it, I was saying it, and I was really connected to it, and I felt that more than a millionaire, a billionaire, a gazillionaire, I just related to Infinionaire so strongly, and so and then I realized after some time that I was calling the challenge, because if I'm calling that, then I have to really prove that I am that. And so, but for a long time, I kept thinking that, yeah, I am that. And so I'm going to show that I am that by, my riches and these things. And, I kept thinking that was just, because it's a natural manifestation of when you are abundant within, it's going to show in your physical reality. It just does. And so, that's where my mind was. And that's what I kept thinking. And so it was, I guess it's been for the last 5 years, it's been that I've gotten the total realization, mostly in the last 2, since 2020, the realization of truly being an Infinionaire and owning it and feeling it and projecting it and receiving the benefits of it every single day, and once you have it, can't nobody take it from you. Can't nobody take it from you. And I'm grateful and thankful every day for all of the things that we went through in the past 15 years that brought us to the space now of calm and relief. One of the things that was on my mind about what's happening in the world with the pandemic, and all of these different things is that in all of the things that we have researched, I have seen the information about the people that have taken shots becoming bioweapons and becoming people that can pass on dis-ease and all of these different things to the people. Super transmuters to the people that are not vaccinated. And so, although that does not make me feel like, it doesn't scare me. It doesn't scare me. It makes me cautious because I have the information, but I also trust that I'm going to be moved in the way that I have to move. And so what I noticed, and this came from a story that somebody told me today of her child that got rejected from being able to stay somewhere because she was not vaccinated. And so in that, a lot of heartbreak and sadness and different things like that. But, I told that person, if you look at it in another way and maybe consider that, your daughter was protected, if this is a bioweapon, then you're protected by those that are wanting to be protected from you. And so, we can't take it personal when people feel these things. I mean, I know some people that are vaccinated. I'm not going to be afraid of them, just like I ain't afraid of nothing. I ain't afraid of nobody. And there's people that I love that, got vaxxed, and that's what they chose, and I love them anyway. And I know that if it's meant to be, it'll be. If we're supposed to be in each other's presence, we will be. And if we're not, we won't be. But it certainly won't be because I'm afraid that somebody's going to put something on me. Because when I saw that video and I researched that information, I realized that where we are in the world, it's so that you can make a decision. If you really, if you really have faith in the God that created the universe, the Most High, and you're saying that with and through the Most High, I can do all things. Nothing is impossible. So, if you're saying that, then that's really what you mean, right? That's everything. That's not except for asterisk star note, except for COVID vaccines and shots and a gunshot or a stab wound or HIV or whatever it is. And so my whole point is that if we're going to stay away from fear, we can't justify our fear because we have information. The scientific information says that you are absolutely a bioweapon. And so that means that I can't even be around you because, I mean, it's still a fear either way you put it. If you think that you're in the right or you think the other person's in the wrong, it's still a fear. And if you were really trusting your creator, you're putting your energy and your faith and everything into that, then be about that life. Like, don't play. Because it just does not make any sense. And if we know that energy is what creates everything, and that's the energy that we're keeping, that's what I was saying in the beginning. If you're scared, you can say it all day long that you ain't scared, but every vibration that you have in your cell is saying otherwise. And if I can feel that, the universe feels it. God, Dios, Allah, however many gazillion names we have given this force of the divine. So, it's choice. Choice is a beautiful and wonderful thing. And like, things don't have to be ugly. They don't. Because see, people, their choices dictate their outcomes all the time. All the time. We see that in the most extreme form when someone loses their temper and they make a choice to pull a trigger on somebody. It doesn't matter what that person did or what fault that person had. In that moment, that person made a choice that they just cannot come back from. And from that, they've created their entire experience from this lifetime, from another life to another lifetime, and it carries on. See, because in order to take a life and be good and grounded with it, you have to really have studied. You have to really know, like the Jewish people and the people, the Luciferians and the people that practice like these really deep, practices. They recognize that sacrifice is important, and sometimes people are sacrificed, for the greater good. And if you believe it in your heart and in your soul and in your mind that is why you are doing such a thing, then the universe has no choice but to respond to that energy that you're giving to it. And this is why we say, this person is so bad. Why are they receiving such good? It's only what you perceive, first of all. But the thing about it is that you just really don't know. You don't know what agreements were made. You don't know what this person is doing behind closed doors. You don't know. And that's why people, they're wanting to have this whole Big Brother thing. And they want you to, know that, God is watching. But they really made it weird, right? Because they like literally have the cameras on us like God is watching. We're watching you. We see everything. So do good. Whereas the universe, the God, the Most High, is a God that is everywhere in all things, always in us, always there, always watching. That's why we are the judge. That's why we are the persecutors. That's why it's all in us. And so they just created an artificial way of what God is, and they think that they are, people believe this idea that God is going to punish them and that God is going to, so they're already understanding that, well, if I'm not a good person, then I'm going to get punished. Well, I got to live like this because this is what I deserve. It's a whole program that has been being set up for centuries. Like, we got a hold of the 2030 agenda in 2013, but that was out like, I'm going to say 100 years ago. I'm going to say even farther than that. The whole idea of mind control and manipulating people has been part of the whole elite institution, and they have been around for centuries. So, they're really into what they do. And so now that's why we have to be into what we do. And for everybody, it's going to come in a different way. It's going to come in a different way for everybody. So you don't want to get, you don't want to get stuck on somebody else's plan. You don't want to get stuck on what somebody else is telling you to do. As soon as it stops working, hey, move on to the next. Move on to the next. Some formulas I watch people doing specifically in the Ifa religion, because that's one that I'm familiar with from my childhood. And I see what people have done with it and what it was meant for it to be. And it's the same just like any religion. It's like Jesus was supposed to show us what you could do through God, and people, turned him into Michelangelo's boyfriend, and now everybody thinks that it's the white man with a beard. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just crazy, but it's not. It's what it was supposed to be, because when you live in darkness, and we have been living in the dark ages, where information was just for certain people and only people were allowed to know this or that. That's no more. And that's why the internet came through. That's why all of this that's happening now is happening. It is all for our highest good. It is all for our benefit. So, yes, let's mourn the people that are not, are being the examples, are playing their role, because everybody plays their role. And the people that have to play those difficult roles, those real challenging roles, I said to them. But without them, we couldn't know what we know. We couldn't be where we're at. And so we got to give thanks for that. Let's see. We got 15 minutes. Let me see. I did make the list, you guys. Because we talked a lot about chaos, I do want to give you guys something that you could look at. And I'm putting this in the group, but you guys can find it at Rumble. And it is called The Great Reset Explained, 7 Ways to Prepare, The Great Reset Explained, 7 Ways to Prepare Yourself Financially. And this is by Jake Ducey. He made this video in 2020, and it was very cool watching it in 2021 to see all of the things that he has said and projected come, this is where we're at, and even going further. So those of you that have thought, oh, well, I didn't get in time for the foreign currency, or, I still haven't gotten up on my gold or silver, different things like that. Look, we're still in the, what is it that they call it? When you're in the ground floor. We are on the ground floor of this shift. Everybody's right on time all the time. So it's just a matter of you doing what it is that you're able to do. Because in doing that, and doing that in full faith, in love, in comfort, then that in itself is going to bring you all of the other things. It's going to give you other opportunities to make different investments, to participate in other different things that are going to allow you the freedom that you need in your mind so that you could really access your full infinite. And so this freedom comes by you. You grant yourself the freedom by your knowledge and what you're applying and what you're practicing and what you're believing and how you're functioning and operating every day. And it's going to change. The more energy and attention you give to these things that matter to your life, then the more you're going to get. And I also want you guys to take note that this is your spiritual practice. Your financial knowledge, your learning about your economics, all of these different things, that is part of your spiritual practice. So look at it that way. Look at it that way, because that gives you more leeway, and it gives you the proper perception of, I'm doing my work all the time. I'm working on my spiritual self by observing these things and by organizing these things in my life so that I could function in a way that's comfortable for me. And so financial abundance, wealth, that is part of existence. And the only reason why there's so much lack of it in the world is because people lack the knowledge of who they are. And I think there's been so many that have said it before. People lack the knowledge of who they are. They've said it in a lot of different ways. That's the way that it's coming to me right now. But that is why we exist in the world that we exist in right now. People do not know who they are. They think they're somebody else. They think they're Beyonce. They think they're Kanye. They think they're Obama. They think they're Oprah. They think they're Jesus. They think they're everybody else but themselves. That is the motherfucking problem in the world. And I mean, it is so simple, the solution. And it is not because I'm saying it. This is not something that I just made up. This is the universe, God, the Most High solution to your salvation, to our salvation, is to just come home. Come home to yourself. Figure out who you are. Lock your ass in the closet and say, God, where you at? I need you right now. Can you say something? And you know what? God is going to show up. I promise you, God will show up. But you have to be in the space of listening, an expectation of how God is going to show up. And you have to stop thinking that God is one thing. It's like when we say the all, how could we limit it? And so we got to pay attention when God comes to us in so many different ways, so that we could stop thinking that we're alone and that wasn't nobody there for us. Like that whole cry, the whole pity cry, don't nobody got time for that shit no more. Just like the whole gossip thing. It's like everybody is, this is what, I took a peek into the conscious community today through this gentleman by the name of Young Pharaoh. Young Pharaoh was introduced to me by someone a long time ago. And, you know, when it came to the conscious community, I already had a feeling about it a long time ago. And so the universe and my ancestors, divine, most high, made it really a nice path for me away from all of that. But it's there, so we see it. And so we're seeing these communities. We have Young Pharaoh, Brother Polite, Nature Boy, Sonetter, all of these different people. And I don't know enough about them to give you details about them. What I know is about the communities that they serve and the label of conscious community that they title themselves under. And now we're seeing this young man totally exploiting women online and, you know, putting his personal business, because now everything is a reality show, right? So and the fear of, oh, my supporters are going to leave. So now I'm going to fix this situation right here, right now. And I'm going to, you know, make this person, you know, belittle this person and raise my my viewers, because then it becomes, look, once you got a certain amount of viewers, YouTube, whoever the hell, they're going to give you a check. And then you start getting comfortable with those things. And so right now what's happening in the world is people is selling their soul for everything. It always goes back to money. But I mean, you're selling a choice that you make is selling your soul if you're not making that choice from your heart and your mind, and you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing and you're saying yes to stuff, you're selling out. That's just it. Because you got to get the money. Because as long as you got money, everything is okay. Do you know that our community, and when I say our community, the melanated community, the people that have been the have-nots since like forever, you're seeing the whole communities dripping. Like I thought we were dripping in my time in the hood, you know, because I used to buy the fake Louis bags, you know, so that I could floss and you know, feel like I was, you know, moving on up. And so now it's just, so it was bad then, you know, with all the fakes and stuff, but it's just gotten to a whole nother level of bad where people are really sacrificing for not just the fake stuff is over. So now they're sacrificing for the real thing. So they're still living in the hood, but they're shooting people and killing people and selling drugs to people and doing all kinds of things so that they could get the bloody shoes, so that they could get the bags and the, you know, all these brand names and labels. I can't even... You look at videos and it's just like a total joke. You see that, like, I came up in, you know, when hip hop was born. You know what I'm saying? It was a difference. That was the realness of what it was. And now it's just a whole image of bling bling and gold teeth and the most expensive brands. And, you know, it just looks like candy, you know, colorful and all of these, everything. It's just everything now. You know, and it's just the craziest
extremes
thing. It's the extremes. And so our job is to find the balance. You know, and I have to say this. I dip into everything when I want to dip into everything. Meaning, yep, there's sometimes that I'll see, let me see what hip hop is doing. And what hip hop is doing in Love and Hip Hop is just crazy. It's crazy to me. I give it my attention, and then I find solutions for it and things that I can do and ways that I can reach the community of these young women. But I can only do it in my mind, because we are past the time of trying to take somebody, you know, what is it that they call them when you check in somebody, or when you know, kind of hemming them up to kind of give them food, and, you know, you want to get them in the right place, and they're the youngins, and you want to bring them up and give them the right word. I don't know how to pull their coattails, whatever. However, whatever the term is, that time is done. That time is over. You can't do that. People got to get it on their own. So there is nothing that you can't give it to anybody. So you can't take a youngin and try to give them up and school them, because you're not schooled. Do you understand? And so you're spitting out and you're giving people information that you think you know because you're an elder. You're older now, so what you say, oh, that's the older person, that's the living ancestors, that's the OG. Gotta respect the OG. OG ain't saying nothing but bullshit, but because they got that wise gray hair and they missing all their teeth, then they wise. They've been here for a long time, so they spin the truth. And it's just another person's opinion. It's another person's perception. And that's with everybody, no matter how much you respect them. It's just the way it is. Let me continue to go with my notes. That's just the way it is. Mm-hmm. Some things will never change, but everything is changing. Pay attention. I told y'all that. Everything that you can imagine in this world and out of this world exists. All you have to do to be a part of that world is believe in it. Believe in it, but it is a belief that is from your soul. You believe it.
In your core.
In your core, you believe it. And in your soul. And the more you believe it, the closer you get to it. It has universal law states you cannot, it can't not happen. If you're holding that vibration and that intention, and that is a dominant thought in your mind and in your heart, it is going to happen. Now, time, we can't get stuck on time now. You can't worry about the time. Time is irrelevant. You have to focus on being able to create that vibration within you, no matter how long it takes. Because if that's what you believe, that's what it is. And that's all that matters. So I wanted you guys to check out that video about the Great Reset Explained, because in it, you're going to be able to find solutions to the reset that is happening. If you have not noticed it, everything is getting smaller and it costs more. That is called inflation. And so you're paying more for everything. That means that your dollar is worth less than what it was.
It's not that the prices are going up. It takes more dollars to gain that good or service.
Yes. And so anything that you can put your greenbacks on that will hold value, that's the key. For some people, that's guns. For some people, that's crystals. For some people, that's coins. For some people, that's foreign currencies. For some people, that's real estate.
Silver? Oh.
Metals, gold, silver, copper. For some people, it's cryptocurrency. So there's a lot of solutions for what you can do with your greenbacks so that you can be in a better place. We are on the ground floor of what the world is becoming. And so it's about setting yourself up and being able to take advantage of the things that are being presented to you. And there is something for everyone. You don't have to have a gazillion dollars to participate in any of these things. Right now, the most beneficial investment, in my opinion, is silver, because you can get $30 worth of silver. And I don't like to make guarantees. I'm not a financial advisor or nothing like that. But my spidey senses tell me that silver is going to be worth more than gold. I know that's even more extreme than what the financial experts have said, because they have been saying that it is going to be worth 10% of what gold is, because gold has been the number one and gold is, the end all be all. However, in this 2021, where now we got so much information available to us, if you do the research on technology and you look at what is used in technology and you see that it is silver, and you really look into the history of silver and how it's being suppressed and how it's being hoarded, then it makes a lot of sense to, just throw some money in there, because it's happening for a reason. Why aren't they hoarding the gold? They're probably hoarding gold too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're hoarding gold too.
They look at both of them as
the same.
Similar.
Mm-hmm.
Gold and as well as silver, they maintain their wealth.
Mm-hmm.
They're
but they're
God's
just not
money,
saying
they can't be created.
Yeah, God's money.
Right.
And they're just not saying that silver, they're not saying silver is going to be the
silver
2000.
because silver is easier to access.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even with gold, it's like, it takes quite an investment to get gold.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can still get it at a gram for $60, But silver, you can get a whole ounce for
$30.
Like $30.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a great investment if you can, put $30 on silver. Get it, hold it, don't tell nobody about it.
Start stacking it.
Start stacking it.
Yeah.
Yes. And even your jewelry.
Think
when you
about
got
your
jewelry.
savings. Your savings is in an account where it earns pretty much zero interest. So they're charging you to hold your savings, where your savings, you could have it if you're definitely not thinking of touching it. It could be in silver, and it could at the least not have the ability to be inflated, its value be inflated away.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that man can print, that means that he can inflate the value or devalue that currency. So through the printing, because they giving money away like
man. And
they're
people
giving money away for COVID shots. They're giving the money away for. I think I even heard something that they're going to be providing money for the Afghanistan people that are coming here. I think they signed a $5 billion.
You know what that means?
I'm like, wow.
That means that you might be able to get some money if you got a friend that's Afghani. You might be able to get some money too, because that's how they do. They just give money away. Any reason. So. Hey, the Chinese got harassed over the whole Wuhan thing, and they implemented some kind of a law that says you ain't supposed to harass no Chinese people.
Well, they put money aside.
Which always makes me wonder. Well, why y'all don't put money aside? What happened to the black people in America? But I already know the answer to that. But they just love to just put it in your face and just kind of keep showing you that. But
yes,
yep. So it is happening. We are in it. We're going to continue this theme of our spiritual practice in chaos because it's what's necessary. It's not going to get any. We ain't seen nothing yet, but it's not a bad thing. It is a great thing. So I want to make sure that we stay in the celebration of that. Although we know that the times are challenging and they'll continue to be challenging, but we're ready. We're ready for it because it's happening. And
those who know the answer to the test, they succeed.
That's right.
If you can see the punch coming, then you can slip out the way, and you can make them pay. You can benefit from your knowledge.
That's right.
Those who have the knowledge
and use it and practice it.
Yeah,
because you gotta definitely put it into action. Thank you, Solution. So we will see you guys back on Sunday. If you didn't check out last week's sessions, make sure that you catch up. They're going to get more intense as the weeks go by, and y'all know why. Ache. Solution?
Ache.
Adios, everyone.
When I feel the sound of music vibrating in me, I take hold of the energy and ride the frequency. My soul makes the melody of my life, so I must sing. Every tune that comes through me brings balance to my being. I have the power to change the direction in me through sound. I have the power to change the direction in me through my mind. I am creation. I am animation. I am the brightest vibrant star. vibrations. I am zip, pepper, sass, punch, bounce, moxie, mojo, whatever you call it. I am Ajay, 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 Ajay. Ajay, 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 Ajay. Ajay, 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 Ajay. Ajay, 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 Ajay. Ajay, Ajay, Ajay. 13 Ajay, Ajay, Ajay. 13 Ajay. Ajay, Ajay. Ajay, 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 Ajay. 13 Ajay, Ajay, Ajay. 13 Ajay. Ajay, Ajay. Ajay, 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 Ajay. 13 Ajay, 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 13.